8 out of 10. I've said it. There we go. I'm going to say a couple things that may upset big fans of the game, and I'm also going to say a lot of things that are very positive and everyone's going to love. But I want everything to be within the context of, overall, if I had to give my gut reaction, I give this game an 8 out of 10. That is a very good rating. There are new games that come out that do not hit 8 out of 10s. So, Suikoden 2. I have finished it. I have gotten the credits. I did not min-max this as much as I planned to initially for a couple reasons. But let's just get into it. What do I like about it? What do I not like about it? And why do I feel the way that I feel? We're gonna go through the good, the average, and then the bad, and then we'll round it up. That's kind of the structure of this video. So let's kind of go into it. Number one, again, I'm giving this game a 8 out of 10. It doesn't quite hit 9. It's maybe closer to 8.5, but I don't like half points. So we're going with 8. This game, when it does well, it does incredibly well. And I think the HD remaster is super well done. Because I was watching the alternate endings on the other version, you know, the original version of the game, and I couldn't believe how good this version of the game looks, basically. So what is really, really well done in Suikoden 2? This is going to come down to what matters to you the most as a player. I am very, very mechanically driven in my games for the most part, which is very weird for a JRPG player to say because it's mostly about story for the most part. However, a really, really good story I think is good and it's important, but a really bad story can still be a really fun game if it's mechanically good, in my opinion. But what Suikoden 2 does very, very well is presentation. You could sum it up with presentation in general. That's kind of an umbrella term, but when I'm saying presentation, I mean the visuals, I mean the audio, I mean the animations, the fact that there's like all these characters around. The world feels very alive. Obviously the open world is like a little, I still think the open world could use more work and more interesting stuff to see. But once you're in towns, like, they're alive, there's a lot of characters around, tons of interesting NPCs. This is one of the only games that I would walk up to normal NPCs thinking that they were recruitable party members, and they just weren't. They were just NPCs that were very well designed. That is very common in this game. Lots of very cool looking characters. In addition, just like, I know it's like silly just to look at the run animation, but the run animation, and then in the cutscenes, there's like the animations of the characters there. They put in so much effort and love into all of the presentation of this game. It's got some of the greatest music as well, especially if we go to the Necrolord song. I won't play it right now, but you could probably find it on my live stream. The Necrolord song is absolutely a banger, bro. The Unite attacks are varied and interesting and fun. I didn't see them all or anything like that, but I did use quite a few Unite attacks, and they were every single one. The dog, Gengen riding the other dog with like a fishing pole to like run over the guy, and then like the hero ones where they jump in and both your protagonists kind of do these cool karate hits, and then the one with you and Nanami where you do like the family attack. All of them are very well done. Another thing the game does really well, and this is a Suikoden special, is the collecting of the Pokemon, right? It is so fun to go out into the world, find recruitable characters, and then bring them to your cause, see them at your castle, and watch your castle grow. Now, I actually would prefer there was less NPCs. I know that's part of the presentation that I like, but I kind of like in Suikoden 1 that every single human you see in your castle is one of the characters you recruited. This feels a little fluff to me with all the NPCs. I know that there's a lot of people in the town that make the whole thing run, but I kind of like the feel of everyone being someone you recruited instead of it being a lot of characters that aren't recruited. But yeah, without going into it too much deeper, I mean, honestly, what I think the game does really well is presentation, charm, visuals, and stuff like that. It's hard to find a game, especially at this time period, that even compares to that. Now, if we're going to get into the things that are average, there's going to be a couple nitpicky things in here. First nitpicky thing, since it's on my mind already, like with all the NPCs, is a lot of the environments in the towns are, although very well done, very good visually, they're kind of unnecessarily big and empty. Not empty of necessarily content, Sorry, not necessarily empty of like NPCs, but empty of content. It's like they don't need to be as big they are. There's a couple places like Muse that are very noticeable. That it's like, why is this so freaking big? But even if you go to Drakemouth Village here, this town's a perfect example. It's just kind of like big and spacious with nothing going on. This one isn't the worst one out of all of them. It's not that big of a town, but there's a lot of towns a lot of just maps you go into, and there's just a lot of space that doesn't feel very necessary. It's not like a big deal. It could be kind of nicer world building, but I felt like I was walking around a lot more. Like, I felt like I kept going into just houses that had no point. Like, I walked in here. Oh, this was empty. Okay, well, why is that empty? I don't know. And it's like, yeah, of course there could be an empty house in a town or whatever like that, but it felt like it was very common that happened a lot. The forced party member situation is way better than Suikoden 1. However, it is still kind of annoying. They give you a convoy that you could use sometimes, and sometimes you can't. Sometimes a character like Nanami could be in the convoy, sometimes she can't be in the convoy. Sometimes they'll want you to have like 3 characters, but you need to have one of them in your party at least. So I'm not in love with the forced party members not all being able to be in the convoy in a game about having a ton of party members. I think it's like, I don't care about forced party members, but in a game about having, it's like, imagine playing Pokemon, like Pokemon Yellow, it does this, but like you're playing Pokemon, but you have to have 2 Pokemon out of your 6 that you can't switch out. It's like annoying. It's like the whole concept of the game is to custom build a team with all these interesting characters and units. So I think it's mostly that it is annoying in the structure of the game. Now, this one might be spicy. I personally do not like this. I don't think this is straight up bad. I don't think the character is bad, but I think the storytelling of him is bad. So I kind of put it in the average category of Joey. I did not like Joey's story at all, but I like the character of Joey. I like him being our friend. I like him post being our friend. I like him being like evil Joey, becoming the king, very Machiavellian, slowly, he was just a kid, then he got a chance to be a general, getting his unit, and then he became like the cousin, he married into the royal family, and then he became the king. Like, it was all very cool and fun to watch, but I don't like his development into that. It was like a light switch, at least when I was playing the game and I watched it. To me, it appeared like a light switch. We were in the camp, he was on our side, we had to escape, he got stuck behind, we thought maybe he's dead, and then the next day, he shows up and he's just evil Joey. It's like, it was such a fast, drastic turn. It didn't feel like he had seeds of doubt planted that then started to grow. It felt like he was literally like, boom, I'm evil Joey. I'm about to assassinate the leader of this town the next day. So I did not really vibe with that very much. The overall story, I put in the average category. I think if you played this game when it came out, it was probably incredible, kind of like Final Fantasy VI. But I've played a lot of games with very interesting, very well-written stories with incredible twists and turns. And, I'm in a post-Game of Thrones world or a post-Chained Echoes world. Game of Thrones is not a game, I know that. But the point is, I've seen really, really good storytelling. And although the storytelling of this game is good, it wasn't like amazing to me. It was just fine. But it was still like good. Like, I had a good time. Like, it's still, again, this is like 8 out of 10. I don't think it was bad, but I wasn't like blown away. I just thought it was fine. I thought it was serviceable, but maybe above average, but not actually into the category of good. So one thing I'm going to starts average, and I think it kind of gets bad, is the combat itself. I think the combat itself is totally fine. It's a very simple combat system. There's almost no depth to it at all, and you're primarily going to be auto-attacking. Do you have to auto-attack? Not necessarily. You could set up teams with unite attacks, but unite attacks are just fancy auto-attacks, really. Yes, you could have like magic runes, and you can have some runes that they've done better than the first one, but it's very, very similar. It was kind of an issue I had with Yuden Chronicles as well. The combat is like in the first 5 hours when you're going to get a full party, you're going to get a little bit of magic, you're going to get a unite attack, and you're going to get a rune that like modifies, a Titan rune or whatever. It's like you go last, but you attack stronger. You're going to get like this kind of stuff set up. And then the combat doesn't really evolve over the course of the entire playthrough. You get stronger, you get some higher level magic spells, which is like cool, I guess, but like you still use them very limited. And but it's still gonna come down to a lot of times you're just fighting like normal attacks, and it's fine. It's serviceable. I had a good time with it, but I've played games like Octopath Traveler 2 at this point. I've played games like, you know, Chained Echoes again, Final Fantasy X. These games have really good combat systems, and so this game just being a kind of normal combat system, more of a traditional, because it's a traditional game, it was fine. But it didn't develop into something greater. There wasn't a whole lot of depth in it. It never just really, it didn't keep expanding, you know? I wasn't getting interesting new stuff really late in the game, really. Maybe you got a couple new spells, but I felt like after the first 5 hours, I had kind of gotten it, and it just didn't change enough. And honestly, it was just too easy. This isn't a case of like, I was being lazy and didn't want to do anything, and then why is this game so hard? You know, I'm auto attacking, why aren't I winning? No, like, you could beat this game with subpar characters, probably no magic, maybe you need a healing magic, but like, you know, tactics, and then you just auto attack shit to death. Like, it's a very, very easy game. I can't even remember if there was a difficult fight in this game. The zombie dragon in Suikoden 1, for me, was harder than any fight in this game, and that fight was only 2 attempts. I don't think I lost in an attempt. I don't even think I probably got close once or twice, because I was like, no strategy, just attack all out, and it always worked out. So that's why I think that part is kind of bad, is that it was a kind of a simple combat, which was fine, and it was entertaining enough. But it being combined with there being no real tests, no end game, no post game, no super bosses, it means that this is not why I play the game. I would not play this game because I'm craving to enjoy the combat system. When I play this game, I want to collect all the characters. I want to build my castle. I want to get the funny characters in my party. I want the gadgets. I want the Clive because he has a gun. I want the dog to have magic because it's funny that he has magic. That's the kind of the reason that I play this game. The final thing that I want to say that I thought was negative, it's related to the story, but it's not the story itself. It's basically the pacing of the story. And this might seem weird to some, because for me, this game felt kind of long, which is weird because it really wasn't. If I go to my save state, or sorry, it's not a save state, this is the Steam version. But if I go to save my game, I believe I'm at 28 hours for the playthrough, which is pretty short. I didn't rush it or anything, but it wasn't that long is what I'm saying. You could probably get, okay, let's just round it. Let's say 30 hours. Let's say you could probably get another 10 hours to 15 hours doing all the stuff. If you get every character, you can probably get it in 5 to 10 hours, realistically, 35 to 40 hours. That's weird because it felt pretty long to me when I was playing it. And I think it came down to the pacing of the story. It was just a lot of, okay, there was especially after, you know, spoilers, after the Luca Blight thing where, you know, you're no longer fighting Luca Blight, you're basically going after Joey. You have this whole segment about Necklord. So it takes a long time to get to your castle and get the story kind of started. Suikoden 1 also kind of took a while for it to get started, but I don't think quite as long. So this game took a while to get going. And then once it was going, it was fine for a while, but then you kind of got to this Necklord part, and don't get me wrong, I actually really like this part. It was one of my favorite parts of the game where you're fighting zombies and stuff, but it felt so out of left field and should have been bonus content as like a side objective you could do to recruit some party members and like maybe a super boss or something to defeat Necklord. But it was kind of shoved into the main storyline, and it was weird because we were just fighting Luca Blight, and then we were getting ready to go into like peace talks or whatever with Joey in Highland, and then it's like, hey, you got to take 5 hours here to go do this Necklord thing. So the pacing of that really felt off because I was like, this isn't what I want to do right now. I'm in the middle of this war. I want to keep doing this war. And don't get me wrong, the Necklord, it was all very fun. I enjoyed that part of it, but I really wish it would have either been earlier or it would have been later, or would have just been optional where I would have felt like I could have tackled it. Like, oh, look how crazy cool this whole side segment is. Like, oh, Platty, did you do the Necklord side quest? It was so cool. You have to go into this area and do that. I think I would have been just way better execution. So I think I would have appreciated it more. So final thoughts. I had a really good time playing this game. It is kind of weird to go from positive to negative because then I end on the negatives and I want to defend myself. I think this game is really good. I'm pretty happy giving it an 8 out of 10. It's not gonna make it into my top 5 RPGs of all time. I would say it's better than Suikoden 1 in pretty much every measurable way. But Suikoden 1 has some advantages as well that I kind of want to talk about maybe in a separate video. This is a game that I think everyone should play, especially Suikoden 1 and Suikoden 2. They're just fun, charming games. I think they are primarily for JRPG lovers as opposed to general video game lovers. Mechanically, the combat in either game is not going to keep you entertained on its own. It's mostly just auto battles, essentially. You don't have to auto battle it, but you don't really need to strategize. So at that point, why not auto battle? Fun to watch. It's got fun. It's got a fun story, and it's really the highlight. What makes this game stand out is I think what really gives it a lot of the 8 out of 10 points is the collecting of all the characters. Going into a town, seeing a drunk guy at a table, asking him to join your castle. He joins your castle, and now you have a drunk monk that punches people to death and has a unite attack with your, I don't know, your dog, and he picks up the dog picks him up and throws the drunk monk. I don't know. I'm making this stuff up, but this is like the kind of stuff that happens, right? This is what makes it so fun. It just like, it's kind of a spectacle in that way. No other game gives you this much ability to recruit so many individual characters. And it's super exciting to do it all the time. And then you come back, you get to see them all at your castle. You get to see your castle expand. And that's the part that's really good. I think because I came off Suikoden 1 and immediately went into Suikoden 2, I think I burnt myself out on the recruiting though. I didn't have as strong of a desire to recruit all of the side characters and to do all the mini games because I had just done so much of that in Suikoden 1. I was kind of more here for the story, and I think that's not necessarily where you want to be in a mindset to fully enjoy this game as you could. So I think even though I wasn't in the mindset to really give this everything that I should have because I played it too quickly after 1, I think it's a really good game. And if someone says this is their favorite JRPG of all time, I could totally understand why. Especially if you played it when you were younger, the story would have a massive impact on you, and it would have had a massive impact on me, of course, if I played it when I was younger. I've just seen a lot of stuff now, and it's hard to see this, like the twists and the turns as like, whoa, how innovative, when at the time it was. But this game has probably inspired lots of games to do similar things. But I mean, overall, I like it better than Eiyuden Chronicles. So Eiyuden Chronicles, I think, was like a 6 or 7 out of 10. This game, I think, is pretty much better than Eiyuden Chronicles in every way. I am excited to play Suikoden 3. I will be playing that probably over the next couple months. Not right now. I'm going to take a couple months break, just like I did with this, because that game is apparently quite a bit longer, and I really want to take a step back, breathe, play some other games, and then dive in when I'm really all ready. But guys, that's all for this one on Suikoden 2. Let me know what you think. What do you think I'm totally wrong on? What do you think I'm totally right on? Is this game an 8 out of 10 to you? Do you think 8 out of 10 is too low? Do you think it's too high? Are there any Suikoden 2 haters out there? Let me know. Anyway, much love. Purplatypus is Purplatypus. I'll see you on the flip-flops. Bye!